Enough of that bad, but I don't believe we have rights, I believe. I really don't believe we have any rights per se, because the only one who ever threatened me or kidnapped me or imprisoned me or trespassed my rights, thief me, violate me is either the police or the magistrates where tell the police to do it. And if then they're the ones where they run the show, right? If then they're the ones where they run the show, then I don't think we have any damn rights. So this is the really movement right now where they go about in Belize. This right there, this learn the Constitution, and it's headed by 3 individuals. One which is my ex-magistrate, and I talked to the ex-magistrate, I asked questions, and this ex-magistrate say, you know what, the Constitution is the supreme law of Belize. That's what he said, right? And it's actually written in the Constitution too. Constitution is supreme law. But you know what that ex-magistrate said? In order to make you get your constitutional remedy, meaning if somebody violate your constitutional rights, in order to make you get a remedy, the only place where you could get at really is the Supreme Courts, not the lower courts. So what are the lower courts? Magistrate courts. So if the magistrate courts is where most of us go, most of us get dragged to, if we go there, but it's not where you could get remedy for your constitutional rights, doesn't that mean that it's not constitutional? Think about it. So if this court right there is not where you will get your constitutional rights respected, then why is that? Why is that? When you look into this, right, when you investigate, you find out that the magistrate courts are an administrative court, meaning it's the courts of the crown, meaning it's for crown employees and crown subjects only. Properties of the crown. They administrate business with this. So their courts right there, they're not foreign agencies where they pledge allegiance already to a foreign entity, which is the crown. Not the people. Not the people. Why? Because if it was the people, they would respect the supreme laws of the land. But this is not where they respect the supreme laws of the land. In fact, right here, when you go here, you won't find out that then the more like revenue collectors. Right? There's where you get the charges, right? And if you know, deal with the charges, they imprison you. But once you find out this revenue collectors, right? If then they collect revenues, then now a financial institution. Financial institution. Why? Why is that? Well, again, do a little bit more investigation and you will find out. It's because they deal with bills and bonds. Meaning, they deal with charges and promissory notes. When you sign a bond, read it really good. It says, I promise to pay the king. So there are things right there, bills and bonds. They are what you call securities. Check out Central Bank of Belize and you could buy bills, treasury bills and treasury bonds. Where you think the treasuries get the bills and the bonds from? Boom, right there. Boom. Let me read something to you, right? See it right there? It says here, Halsbury Law of England, Administrative Law, Volume 1, right? Introduction, Scope and Nature of the Subject. Scope and Nature of the Subject. Okay. For the purposes of this work, administrative law is understood to mean the law relating to the discharge of functions of public nature in government and administration. You hear that? It includes the law relating to functions of public authorities and officers and of tribunals, judicial review of the exercise of those functions, the civil liability and legal protection of those purporting to exercise them, and aspects of the means whereby extrajudicial redress may be obtained at the instance of persons. Persons. You just have to learn what that word means. Persons. So you see, it says it right here, and you can continue reading this, right? it talks about it a little bit more, Halsbury Law of England. So if we the people want to believe that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land of Belize, and that we want our constitutional rights respected, then we belong in the superior courts, right? We belong there, and we do not belong in these lower courts. We the people do not belong in the lower courts. But why do we go to these lower courts? Well, obviously, a lot of us don't know about this, but because if we do not go, something happens, because we are threatened with guns and violence if we don't show up to these courts. Because remember, this is who the police officers believe is God. And for some reason, the courts seem to hire only people who do not know the laws to be police officers. And I think I know why, because only somebody who doesn't know this would purposely take people to an unconstitutional court and violate their rights. I don't think police officers, if they knew the law, they would participate in this. I don't think police officers are bad. I don't think the people acting as police officers are bad. I think they're going on their belief. They believe that this is their God. They believe that this has all the power. They believe that this is supreme. Even though we know, and you could tell them, hey, the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. They don't want to hear that. Because this is the belief, this is where the belief is. That's really one of the main reasons why I study. That's one of the main reasons why I put my affidavits together and I send them to them. That's one of the main reasons why I study. I read the laws. Then say Belize have laws. Okay, I read their laws. You see? Once we read their laws and we start to educate for ourselves, and we start to realize that many of these public officials, public officers, public trustees, many of them do not know really what the laws are. They just don't know. Why? Because who will read all of this? There's no qualifications really that I think that you need to be in public office will require you to read all of this. In fact, this is only a portion of it. So they want to enforce laws of Belize, but how many of them read all of this already? How many of them? How many of them? Government of Belize, which is a registered company, an American registered company. How many of them know this? See, this is the reason I read. I try to educate myself, and I put down affidavits and I send it out. Right? I send it out and I get it notarized. You know what I mean? I get it notarized and I send it out to these public officials. All the police officers' bosses, all the magistrate bosses, I send it out to them. Why? Because I know it's all business. So I can't depend on rights, because I don't think they understand how to respect my rights. But contract, and I want to use this for the Supreme Court, for the Superior Court. I want to carry it to the Supreme Court. I'm not going to the lower magistrate. We don't belong there. But I will definitely take it to the Supreme Court if necessary. So this is how I educate myself. And if more people could just get into this, you understand? I'm sure we want to see a change. But it's all up to you. You have to want to learn this. You, the people. Because if you don't, my man, we basically are screwed. Honestly. So grab yourself a law dictionary, find it, and look on the words, and you will see it's not like the regular dictionary. Peace and love.